Peace, everyone. It's the HoodMystic representing www.hoodmystic.com with some weekly live readings. Now, these readings are free, but in case people feel the urgent need to get a reading, you could donate with the PayPal and the Cash App via the links provided below. Also, this is all in support for the monthly moon sign readings that I take part in on Patreon. I've been busy with those, and so these weekly readings are in support of my Patreon page. I have a goal of 500 patrons, so I'm inching towards that goal. So if you're interested in joining, please feel free to do so. The links are provided in the description. And as people file in, if you guys file in, we'll talk about Pluto going direct in the third decan of Sagittarius. Ideas centered around work and relationships. The issue with Pluto going direct is that you are beginning to love your slavery. And now that you're being freed from that slavery, things that you took pride in, whether it be marriage, physical things, those things aren't the things that you're able to find gratification in. It's more of this spirituality, more of this consciousness, more of this woke conversation. So what used to be some funny stuff and stuff you could joke about and clown about will be the things that'll save your ass when it comes to deities, orishas, meditations, having time to understand yourself. Another thing that Pluto direct is indicating is a relationship with yourself. Now, a relationship with yourself isn't predicated on words. You know, self, I love you. You know, self, I care about you. You know, self, you're the man. You know, self, you're the woman. You know, it doesn't work like that. In order to practice or even believe in the modality of self-love, there has to be pure actions involved, whether it be a spa day, whether it be exercising, whether it be nature, whether it be paying attention to what you're eating. This all indicates a level of self-love. Sorry, I got distracted real quick. So, in self-love, the ideas that we have towards ourselves, the ideas that we have towards others, they're just not gonna cut it as Pluto goes direct in the third decan of Sagittarius. The card that rules that decan is the Ten of Wands, and if you look at the Rider-Waite deck, you will see a man that is overburdened with a whole bunch of wands on his back, a whole bunch of illegitimate passions that do not serve you. And as the planet of transformation does its business in that areas, foundational slavery of the mind is something that needs to be taken care of. And slavery shows up in relationships and in work. Slave to a relationship, slave to a job. This is slavery as we know it now. It might not be chattel and, things like that, but it's definitely a level of you doing and operating in a space that you really don't want to, but you don't know how to get out. And so when it comes to the Erykah Badu's and the weirdos who are using this energy to manifest real things and real connections, now you want to hop on the bandwagon. So all of the people who've been putting in the groundwork, who've been solidifying themselves with ancestors, with nature, make sure that your wagon is can fit a couple people in there moving into 2020, because you're going to be the world's most popular, most favorite person in the world just because you know how to dress a candle. Understand? 2020 vision, right? I can see in the physical, but I could also see in the spiritual in the same degree, left and right. Now, on my side, I see nothing. Do you see nothing as well?
No, just everyone's greetings.
Everybody's saying, well, you see chats?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, since there are no donations, I will start with just any types of questions, like whatever question my wife reads off to me. We'll just go from there. But since there are no questions yet, I'll keep talking. So what else is going on? A full moon is going on. A lot of this information that I talk about is in that recent full moon video. So be sure to check that out. Another thing that I want to talk about. So we're coming off of we're going into a full moon in Pisces, which is a full moon in Olokun, which is a full moon in the deep recesses of the subconscious mind. And the reason that we want to discuss and deal with the full moon, the reason why we want to deal with the subconscious mind, is because that is where the treasure is. That is where we find our riches. So the idea moving into this full moon should be centered into opulence. And opulence isn't just, oh, I want to have a lot of money. It's a particular action. It's a particular behavior. So don't set a time limit on how long this is going to take. But if opulence is something that you want to embody or something that you want to personify moving into this full moon, start to behave and start to act in that fashion. And from that space, just like Halloween, it's like a costume or a mask, but I challenge you to say, what is the personality that you're wearing right now in the present moment? Is that not a mask? Or do you really feel like that's the real you? So it's very interesting when you speak about the times in the world that we're living in. As changes happen, where the first become last and the last become first, it might be hard to believe that you have this much power and this much say-so, and that things can actually change for you for the better. The things that you've been complaining about for the last 8 months, whatever it's been, those things are becoming to be in a space of alleviation. And once you do get it, what are you planning on doing with it? So, interesting times moving forward. I do study the Kabbalah. Since there are no questions, I'll talk about the Kabbalah, because the Kabbalah, believe it or not, is one of my favorite subjects. And I could talk about the Kabbalah from now until 2020 straight. So I'm working on a book centered in the Kabbalah, but more of a modern Kabbalah and understanding the modality and how to use the Kabbalah. Now, the Kabbalah is not a structural tool that you would use in the physical world, say like a washer machine or a computer or a door. Even though all of these things are encapsulated within the Kabbalah, you do not use them in physical terms. For before there was a door, there was Daleth, speaking of the doorway. So we always speak about consciousness in the respect that the physical world is the reflection of the spiritual world. Have you heard that before? So the spiritual world is either this vague space of nothingness and conjecture, and I seen an image of Oshun. I seen my childhood crush, do this, whatever the fact of dreams and imagination and spirituality. Now, that could be a function of it, but what if the imagination and spirituality function just like the physical world? So, the theory or the science behind that thought is the Kabbalah. So, in all of the esoteric studies that we discuss, albeit astrology, albeit esoterica, tarot, numerology, hell, the English language, the medium for which we are having this conversation, is a result of the Kabbalah, meaning that our world is structured in the space of Arabic and Hebrew letters, and within that understanding is the confines for which we understand the world that we live in. So in order to and I don't necessarily know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, I just understand that when I reference the alphabet, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And this is how I write letters and use language to speak to my children, etc., etc. And we could talk about the English language as being something bad or being something negative, but I'm using it now, so I don't necessarily have the answer on that completely. But what I do know is that it is something to be studied and something to be understood. And from that space, what I'm able to do and what I'm able to show in my new book is how to use the Kabbalah within the dream space to alter your dream space, to bring upon blocks and then deal with those blocks by using Kabbalistic symbols and Kabbalistic pathways, because the tree of life is nothing more but a diagram of the human body. And when you speak to particular blocks, it would be the same as if you had a blood clot. If you had a blood clot, you would go to the hospital, you would go somewhere, you would try to seek and figure a remedy for the stoppage of this energy. Now, energetically, sexually, trauma, having an oppressive mother or father, not being loved and nurtured as a child, high school, college, being a damn adult, and not having no guidance and not having no structure of how your life should be. You don't necessarily know if you're going to make it from week to week, because the moment you get your paycheck is gone and you have no financial support, and you know that it's going to be hard to find a new place to live because your credit, etc., etc. All of these things that may exist in your life can be then restructured in the dream world, as opposed to you going to get your credit score up, as opposed to you getting another job. Well, you might have a lot of energy structured in the Sephiroth of Yesod, which is the sacral chakra, which is the sexual energy, which I feel that in all of my conversations and studying Kabbalah, because once you study your tree of life, you can easily diagnose or understand what's happening in the next person's energy flow. Because the Sephiroth are defined as the faces of God, and the many faces of God. One of the faces of God that is easily shown to us is the face of sex. So, if we're not taught about sex, that sex is just a pit stop on the way to the heart, on the way to the pineal, on the way to the spiritual expression, meaning that I should be able to meet you at the sexual level and hold off on that energy so we can meet again at the heart. And once we connect at the heart, we could take that energy up into the pineal. And these are all references to the tree of life and understanding particular energy blocks within yourself. The remedy to these issues is found in guided meditations within understanding the particular Kabbalistic symbols. And if you understand the Kabbalistic symbols, it's the same difference as I live on 49th Street and I need to get to 26th Street and I need to take the bus to get there because that's too long of a walk. I need to figure out what buses to take to get from point A to point B. And I might need to take a transfer here to get there. But if I map out my bus route, I'll get to point A to point B. When we have energy blocks, we're at point A. The Kabbalah in the path working system allows you to get to point B if you understand it. Now, if you have a perfect life and a perfect grasping of the secrets of the universe, please feel free. Please break it down. Please let us know. But I find that this system is truly valid, and the things that it brings about, you can really talk about it and really get counseling or help, not in a psychiatric way, but in a practical way, because the things that will come up will be things that you can do in the real world to bring about real world problems, but they're messages that you found in your dreams. I'm sorry that if that was a long tangent, but like I told you I could talk about this subject and topic from now until 2020. So don't get me started on the Kabbalah, please, unless you want to. Questions though?
Aaron Simmett, can you feel confident going into my 10-year high school reunion tonight? I'm nervous.
Aaron, I hope you're still there. It's a nice little lag on this, so I'm going to play the trust game. If you ask a question and you leave, just say, I know I asked a question, but I'm going to leave, so just scratch my question. So, Aaron, my dog, you asked me to pull a card, but, it's Friday. It's generosity. I put 3. We got 2 aces. We got the Ace of Cups. And we got the Ace of Swords. And then we got the Prince of Cups. So, as far as this reunion goes, I find it to be a new beginning. It's like a process. What you're going to realize once you get to this 10-year anniversary, we got 2 aces. So it really represents Malkuth. It really represents the beginnings. It really represents like, man, I done came a long way. And you're going to see a lot of people that you kind of just bossed up on, and a lot of people that you respected. And it's just like, they looking at you like, can I get a couple dollars? You know what I'm saying? Everybody going to be like, Aaron, you looking so good. Like, what you been doing? What's the secret? And you can really tell them, I really came from the heart with it. I really came from the bottom like Drake, and now I'm here. And it's a real defining moment for you, so I wouldn't feel like you got nothing to worry about, nothing to be nervous about. Man, just reflect on these past 10 years and think about how much you've grown from that guy from high school. Like, it's a amazing experience that you're about to have. So, I can't wait for you to share with me the experience that you had tomorrow. So be sure to email me at HoodMystic@gmail.com and let me know what happened.
True purpose in this lifetime.
What is her true purpose in this lifetime? Your true purpose. That's a big question. But Xavier, hopefully we can point you in the right direction. Purpose. Ooh. So you've come through a cycle, and purpose for you comes in change. We got the Fortune, and we got the 10 of Cups, and we got the Queen of Swords. That Queen of Swords is the card that I'm really trying to catch a read on and catch a feel on, because when you ask a specific question, and it could be an idea that's making this question hard, like you're trying to live up to something and trying to be something that you might not live up to, probably like a father or something, like an overbearing father, or the lack of an overbearing father, one or the two, where that image needs to be shed and that image needs to be broken away so you can kind of live your new experience. I guess there could be a fundamental idea that things should be amassed and things should be grown and, just living larger than life, but that's just a level, and you could be a person that even or have a lot of money, like you got it, but even in that space you have these questions of what is my purpose. And within this conversation, one would be like, you have to begin to look in the mirror and see how great you are. And then really looking at yourself, figuring out how great you are and how it took for you to get this great. There are plenty of things that you could begin to teach people, tell people, and help people with. But if you don't look at yourself in this space, and even though you got a lot, you're still trying to get a lot, it's because you're trying to live up to an idea that really isn't serving you at this space. So it's time to get rid of that and really resonate with something more of meditation, like really trying to get clear, really trying to shed different ideas as safely and as fast as possible. Hope that resonated. And it's an ill type lag, so whenever you send that question, just expect it to be a minute or so before I respond. So if I don't respond right away, my wife is on the other side keeping a log. So if you do ask a specific question, the least that I ask is that you stick around, because we will get to you. Unless we about to end, and I'll let people know, hey, I'm about to end, so don't ask questions. So peace, Ariel. I got one message. It's been a little wonky type energy permeating the atmosphere. And that wonky type energy is more of the malleability of the energy. It's very changeable. It's formable. And that's scary if you're used to things being a certain way. Is if you don't necessarily know you have power, then this is a very depressing time. And hopefully life don't beat your ass down to a point that you start fighting back and start utilizing your power. Hopefully in the weirdness of it all, you begin to be weird back with it. You understand? Since you guys want to be weird, let me be the weird king. You feel me? Because I've been weird, and now people think it's trendy to be weird. All right, then y'all in y'all in my territory now. So it's about to get really, really weird and really, really psychedelic if that's what y'all want to do. Don't let consciousness be popular, because that's how we take over. Because we not doing it for play. We've been studying this stuff for years now. we've been at this for literally years, fine tuning, honing ourselves, getting ourselves ready for these particular moments. So, any questions? I was just trying to fill some time.
Waiting for BG to send a question. She said she put it on, I don't see it.
So in between, BG, can you repost that question? I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to just answer this question real quick for Styles by Nina. Styles by Nina been rocking with me for years. Like I was just referencing the years. So me and her go back like... So... Nina, it's an idea that like fighting this stuff by yourself and not really coming out of your shell and thinking in your mind that you are alone and everybody is different for you. The idea with the Five of Wands is to get past this idea the best that you can. Even if things are weird, know what you're trying to do and let people kind of be weird. The more that you into yourself and then dealing with the world, the more that you can get your point across. The next card is the universe. So all of these kind of cards, they speak to Saturn, but they all Saturn in a space, since we was talking about the Kabbalah earlier, in the space in the Kabbalah called Binah. Binah speaks to the ancestral mother energy. And if you look up the universe card, there is a woman tapping into her third eye. So with all of this being said, the external can be as crazy as ever. And that's okay. The idea is for you to tap into your meditation. Don't let the world get so crazy that you feel like meditation is beyond you at this point. And it may be difficult to get that zen in that moment. So we got the Nine of Discs, which is ruled by Virgo, which is saying get out, get outside, deal with the earth, take a walk, don't sit in your head, pick up the phone, call somebody. You don't got nobody to call. You know, me and you done sat on lives and had conversations before. So you know for a fact that you can reach out and talk to me. So don't fight these things within yourself. Figure out a way to have an outlet for it. Hope that helped.
We got BG's question.
Okay, BG.
I went to my grandmother in the dream. She gave me a white pouch and said, I'm going to need it. I'm seeking direction in regards to the gift she gave me.
BG, I'm with you. Don't think that I ain't with you. I'm right here with you. So even if you off, it'll be on the recording. Okay. So I was thinking for a moment, because that question required introspection more than it required cards. The cards was just going to confirm the direction for which I was going to direct this reading. What first came up was Madame Marie Laveau in the Grigri bag, but I noticed that that distinct color wasn't white, it was burgundy or red. So I said, no, that's not it. So I went deeper. And when I went deeper, I found a medicine bag from the White Buffalo Woman. And I said, okay, I think that's it, but let me pull these cards to confirm. And so what I got was the Queen of Discs. And so the Queen of Discs signifies looking at a desert and sitting in abundance, looking at everything that a person came through, and like, I made it through that. And I'm still grounded because I understand the negativity that I came through to get to this point, so forth and so on. So that white pouch could signify the White Buffalo Woman and the medicine bag of the Native Americans. She's been known to come to people into dreams in various forms. And living in America, there is an ancestral deity force the same way as living in Egypt, one would feel connected to ISIS or something like that. Here in America, the White Buffalo Woman holds that same type of frequency. And I'm only saying all of this to give you an idea of the power of that white pouch. We dealing with another level, which is tied to abundance. And then we have the Princess of Cups, which is ruled by Malkuth. Malkuth representing manifestations, representing a moment. So let's just deal with the Three of Cups then. The Three of Cups is Mercury and Cancer. Cancer being the maternal, natural sign of the moon connection. One could represent it as a grandmother. Mercury, on the other hand, is like your finances. Etymology for Mercury is mercs. A breakdown of mercs is merchandise. So commerce and, merchandising and money making and all of these could be tied into Mercury. So abundance then is tied into an inheritance. So there we got an ancestral inheritance being passed down to you, and the white pouch being a symbolism for that ancestral inheritance. Now, it could be spiritual, but it could be something of a financial inheritance that you might have to look into. But in the meantime, in between time, I would definitely do my research and purchase or handcraft a leather pouch to signify that dream, to remember that dream as a totem for your financial prosperity moving forward. I can see you getting that pouch or making that pouch, put in different herbs, powders, feathers, stones, all of the things that are near and dear to you, and possibly sharing them with your family for Christmas, like really tying into a native tribal connection to like tribal gatherings and then exchanging gifts with each other. These are all of the things that I'm picking up with that dream. So with all that being said, I hope that was clear enough and it resonated with you and it made sense. Thank you for your donation. I really do appreciate you.
Leslie Davidson wants a general reading.
Leslie Davidson wants a general reading. Now, Leslie, if it's been a while and you've been waiting, I really do appreciate your patience. I just kind of am expressing how it comes to me, and I don't want to leave nothing out. Now, if any of this gets too tedious and too boring for anybody on the live, please feel free to email me at hoodmystic@gmail.com or use the links provided. Get you a 15-minute reading mailed to you via MP3 for a low price. Workbooks, all different types of things to get you engaged and to get you working your pineal gland and get you tapped into the spiritual realm. So it's all here for you. So if you're willing to wait and be patient, I really do appreciate that. But Leslie Davidson sounds like a familiar name. And this is just a general reading. So we have Death, Ace of Wands, and the Seven of Swords. Being that it's general, I can't really say what death is related to, but I never look at death as actual physical death. Just as a disclaimer, I view it as transformation. I view it in the sense of agriculture, meaning that once the harvest is collected and you have these residual corn husks that need to be cleared so we could begin to plant a new harvest, that is the season for which you are entering into in a general sense. Now, from there, we enter into the realm of the Ace of Wands. And this is a primal space where nothing is truly, fully manifest, but it's something that is a full possibility because, for one, your garden is clear. There is no dead weight, no residual. Okay, so in a general sense, it could indicate that there's a situation that happened that you're getting rid of. You're getting rid of this person. I see this person kind of getting pushed out the way because they were dishonest. And this could be like, I'm kind of sad that this happened. And I'm kind of sad that this person isn't in my life. But the Ace of Wands is in the middle saying, it's good. There's always a future. There's always you getting in tune with self and living in a passionate, healthy, prosperous, harmonious relationship because the dead weight must be cleared out. So, in a general sense, I hope that resonated with you and I hope that was clear. And, yeah. How you? You alright? Thank you, Leslie. Javon G. Javon G, or is that all? Jovan G. Got it.
Could you pull a card for me as well? Having my birthday on March 2020.
First child. Congratulations, first and foremost, for having a baby in 2020. Be sure to reach out to us for any advice on children because that is what we do. Besides talk about spirituality and golden mounds, we just deal with children. So don't ever feel, anybody on the live, don't ever feel like you're alone, okay? Especially when it comes to children, because you need support with those people. Because if they even know that you don't support, they'll take advantage of that, because they could Stockholm Syndrome reverse you. Have you wrapped around their little finger. So, get support. So, child in March, what I got is the 6 of Wands, the 5 of Dis, and the 9 of Cups. The 6 of Wands and the 9 of Cups are both ruled by Jupiter. It could indicate that you fear or worry about going through this process. Something about this process is having you be alone, not being entirely alone, but certain things, certain fears, or certain worries of being alone are energies that you need to really be mindful of, because that is fear that you're passing on to your child. And you don't necessarily know if you're going to be surrounded by 1,000 people. You're just putting this energy out there, and it's not really founded on effort. Because if you were to put effort into creating a support system, boom, there you have it. If you were to reach out to people and let them know, hey, I'm kind of going through this with my child, do you have any advice or anything that could help me? Boom, there you have it. What I can research, because soon as I pulled the cards, before I even got into the cards, the word that popped out was doula. Get a doula. Get a doula. So do research on getting a doula. I don't know how expensive they are or are not. But definitely do some research on a doula and possibly get a midwife for when you're having this birth. Don't just kind of get bullied through the process, because that's one thing that doctors can do within this process. If this is a new process for you, they can tell you a whole bunch of jibber jabber that don't have nothing to do with nothing to get you scared, and I don't like that. So be sure to research a midwife, get a healthy midwife, and research a healthy doula. And that's going to help a lot with that fear and that worry that you're going through now. Hope that resonated. I hope you could feel where I was coming from with all that I was coming from, and you do your due diligence and reach out and don't wait until the last minute, to start doing your investigations, because it's very difficult from that space. How's everybody feeling? Hope everybody's feeling well on this Friday night. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I really appreciate that. Here with me and my beautiful, lovely wife. We've been just chilling, having a good day. Took the kids to the playground while I did these readings, and yeah, it's been just an awesome day. Can we get a G check of anybody's here that's interested in getting a card read? Now, these readings are 100% free, but if it gets to a point where you don't like waiting and you want to just hurry up, you can make a donation and get skipped to the front of the line. Definitely, Javon. Definitely research getting a midwife. That should be first and foremost, like Monday morning. Like, do your investigations on that all weekend. See who the good midwife is and figure out. Most insurances cover a midwife, so, you can get that. Liz Moya is here. Does she have a question? So Liz, we're going to do the general, wherever the cards lead me, that's what we'll speak to. Thank you for joining us this evening. So we got the Princess of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and the Two of Cups. This energy makes a triangle energetically. The Princess of Cups being the basis, with the Knight of Swords and the Two of Cups being more of the driver, what did you call that? A steering wheel for the actual base. So to steer this vehicle, one would have to be objective and be centered in love to get your point across, because your point across isn't with the world, it's with yourself. You could be in a situation right now where nobody really knows you from a history standpoint. So their opinion of you is based upon only what you've shown them. So with this understanding, you can understand what I mean by driving the vehicle through objectiveness and love. What the situation is telling you is that there is no long-term effects of really anything. We live in the moment. The moment is a particular idea, and how we act within the moment is a reflection of our steering system. So if you are objective to the point where you're just observant of yourself and others, not making any real judgments of anything, just looking. And when it comes to self, when it comes to realization, you just love yourself, where you're at, because the past, it could be a long book of mistakes or things that you don't really want to talk about, and XYZ. And it could be a situation where you don't even feel like you deserve it, whatever may have you. But you've come out of something, and that is just a victory within itself. It's not to say this applies to you, but just an analogy of a person being out of prison. And this person, you just see them one day and they're just like working at Starbucks and you don't know nothing about their history. And you're just like, man, this person is just so happy to work at Starbucks. Like, why are they so happy? But it's like, you just don't know what they've been through the past 18 so years, where just the simple thing is working at Starbucks is like beautiful. So, that's general. So hopefully that resonated. Questions are good, but general are good intuition challenges for me. So whatever you guys feel, just keep them coming. We live, we here. It's Friday. Feeling good. Hope everybody got a nice little drink that they can sip on from time to time, like me. And my wife. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Ayana has a general reading because she made a donation.
Ayana has a general reading. So these general readings be intuitive, no question. But I like general readings. General readings usually fare well. I get general readings asked more than direct questions because people just like to test you. Because like a question, you could really lead, you could be led, you don't necessarily know if a person is really in tune, because you could be asking a question like, am I going to go to college? And the person would be like, well, and pontificate and things of that nature. But these general readings require a connection to something, to pull from something. You either got to be smart or know something. Can't just be saying anything, any old thing. So here we go. In a general sense, we have the 2 of disc, the 9 of disc, and the Hierophant. I was referencing the 2 of disc earlier, and the reason that I was referencing the 2 of disc was in the space of it was an Orisha that was connected to this card. Olophi. God. Right? 2 of this. God is connected to the 2 of this. And the Thoth Tarot deck calls this card change. Change and gain. So Olophi, change, the yin and yang cycles could be good if you're prepared for them. They could suck if you want everything to be the same. But in this space, I feel like these changes that are happening for you, they feel good. And you might be in a space, this reading is like, well, why is all this good stuff happening to me? I feel a little weird that all this good stuff is changing and happening for me, and what's happening? And it's like, well, you're created in the image of God. You have an ancestral lineage. You have the higher self working for you. You have your innermost. You have your guardian angels. You have your ancestors. You got more ancestors and even more ancestors all working on your behalf that love you, that care for you. You shouldn't ask questions about why is good things happening for you. You got to learn to accept the good things, start to plan for the good things, and understand that your reality and fundamental belief is what dictates your path. So these good things that are happening to you, hopefully they resonate deep, 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 deep into your core. And these become the predicament of every morning you wake up, of this connection to the ancestors and knowing that you have all of this favor. And think of sharing, think about changing your MO, think about changing your attitude, thinking about changing your appearance, thinking about your car, your home, all of these different things. Just change in the space that it would align with what you're trying to attract. So not necessarily fake it till you make it, but definitely in this space of, what's the word? Dress for the job you want to get. I think that's a saying. It's a saying like that somewhere, somehow, where you just emulate the energy for which you're trying to attract. And even if you don't feel like this energy is happening for you, it's about to happen. But I really, really feel in my core of core that the downpour is happening in this moment. And you might be a little confused as to why it's happening. But don't question, just trust and move forward. Generally speaking.
Mm-hmm. I had my roommate to leave. I would like my roommate to be a welcoming, easeful space. I like my home to be a welcoming, easeful space to work in, to make money and create.
So, like, that's a direct question that I couldn't personally give a direct answer to, but I could give an esoteric prescription based upon the tarot cards that I pulled, which is found in the Ace of Swords, which indicate that the story that you tell yourself is a constant thing. I want my roommate to leave. I wish my roommate would go. Tired of my roommate. That's a script, that's a narrative that you tell yourself over and over again. And from this space, you're creating this reality. And if you move to the Princess of this card is signified by a woman being surrounded by her words, and her words being just spaces and places that she doesn't like. So to emerge from that, you have to realize that the script has to change. Even in the spaces before you go to sleep, what do you want to say about the situation, opposed to I want my roommate to leave, because that energy is putting more energy into the roommate's thing. I don't necessarily know how you would want to frame it, but I could give you an example. It's going to feel so good when my roommate just decides to leave tomorrow without me even asking her anything, and just going to sleep on that. Will that work the first day? Probably not. But if you practice it for enough times of positive, not even necessarily positive, but new, clear statements to your subconscious mind, and come from the heart with it, which is signified by the last card, the Prince of Wands, which is you coming from the heart, speaking from the heart, and from that space, you'll actually bring in the changes that you need and get that roommate out faster than it would be for you to be frustrated by it and just constantly saying that you want your roommate to leave. That's not gonna work. Peace.
T-Love Child.
T-Love Child. You're welcome, Christina. Hope that resonated.
I keep running into roadblocks when it comes to starting my own yoga studio. Is that a sign to quit, or should I keep moving forward?
It's not a sign to quit. First off, it's not a sign to quit. That's the first thing. It's just a sign that there's an energy block and that the energy is stagnant. So we could just do some investigation and see where the energy is stagnant, particularly at. So it's a line from the heart to manifestation. It's a straight line, and it goes 6, 9, 10. If you want to look on your tree of life diagram, the princes rule the 6s, the princesses rule the 10s. We have a prince of wands and we have a princess. So the heart is working fine. The manifestation is there. What's in between that is 9, Yesod, sexual energy. And this can be signified by the priestess, which is 2. 2 and 9 are polar opposites of each other. The upper layer and then the lower layer. The upper layer is seeing beyond the veil, really understanding that you have all of this energy and this is really permeating through your being and understanding of life, and you can manifest all these great things. But then when we speak to blocks of true finite final manifestation, we have to deal with the sexual energy. And we have to look at sex. We have to look at that ninth sphere. We have to look at that sacral chakra as a place of wonderfulness, loveliness, beauty, cleansing, the womb of life. And we can't just say this or walk outside and just know this. We have to have the actual practice of the steaming of the womb health, and all of these things. And not to say that one is or one isn't. I'm just saying these are things that really deal with the mind. And when you deal with the mind, that is going to get you into manifest. You might think that it's the mind of the brain. And in the plan and the vision is clear because this is the priestess. You see the vision, it's there, and it's in your heart. And then there's things that might indicate that it's a real thing, like it's a manifested true thing, but it's not finished until the womb or the true mind, the true identity or the foundation is right. Your foundation is not who people think you are. It is your conditioning to how you treat yourself. That's your foundation. You can say, I'm buff and I work out, but if you ain't at the gym, you lying. So it's just more of not saying things, but doing things that show that I am healed from my sexual region. And to do that is not to get counseling or psychiatric evaluations. Is very simple as creating a practice of womb steaming and clearing out of that residual energy and bringing to a place of purity, because that place is your mind and you'll be able to think clearly. And once this is established, the manifestations will come like clockwork. The ease, the yoga studio will be a manifestation. There will be no blocks, and you will be really thinking like, damn, I was really going to quit this. Like, that's crazy. So Do not quit. Just clear your energy. Do the internal work. Do the research. Reach out to my wife. Reach out to somebody that you trust and get that thing situated. Hope that resonated.
I think it resonated with a lot of people. This area is next.
Mm-hmm.
And why isn't Jericho? I'm assuming affectionate with me and never intercourse.
And then Tim, after Tim, we gonna call it. We do usually like an hour.
That's 6.
6 what?
There's 5 ahead.
Oh shit. Definitely after Tim. Shout out to my wife for keeping track of these questions for me. Without her being here, these readings would not be so smooth like they are. So if they are troublesome, or you having difficulties, or you lacking patience, do appreciate your patience, and we will get to you. Just thank you for being patient with us. Was there a question? Oh, why isn't Giorgio being affection with her when they have intercourse? Well, we have the intercourse card, the Queen of Wands, and then we also have the Ten of Wands. I think that, okay, so why isn't he affectionate with you? And the cards would indicate the reason why he's not affectionate with you is because you're not demanding him to be affectionate with you. You're not taking control of the energy, the relationship, or the sexual intercourse based upon your energy, based upon your dominance. I think this man wants to be somewhat dominated. And so he's kind of doing what he would normally or naturally do. It's like a phone on a default setting, and everything just ring, and you just get that normal ring. You know what I'm saying? You need to go in there, open up his settings, and put on your ringtone that you want to hear. Get your notifications to sound the way that you want them to sound. And from there, he'll do the things that you want him to do. He's kind of like your little boy toy or something to that effect. And so the problem with him is that you aren't taking control of him. Hope that makes sense. I know it makes sense. I just, it's like, it's funny. Cause poor Giorgio. Oh man, I gotta take it. I gotta pour one. Giorgio, I'm gonna take that L. Yeah, you need to tell Giorgio what to do. Gotta be direct with him. Gotta utilize the energy of the Queen of Wands. Do some research on that card, and you'll figure out exactly what to do with him. I'm ready.
Sage wisdom. How do I rid myself of these lingering self-sabotaging patterns and ways of thinking? Like I have a hard time to overpower the thoughts as they come in. The action is semi-automatic.
Okay. So we referenced this earlier. The Sephiroth of the sacral chakra is a 9. So the cards that we have for you are lust, which equate to 9. And we have art, which is 18, which equates to 9. We also have the 7 of wands, but we'll save that for last. Self-sabotage in this space is a definition that you have over your natural inclinations. You may be a certain type of way and feel bad about this way, and the way that you feel toward yourself is the self-sabotage. Or it could be a particular action as well associated with it that don't make you feel good either. I don't necessarily know if this is something that applies to you, but the title of the card is lust. And the 7 of wands is Mars and Leo. And this is a sexual energy, but it's a self-serving sexual energy. It's an energy for yourself. And it's like you're not sharing this energy. So when it comes to blocks, you're not exercising your sexual energy in a healthy exchange where you're growing and learning and getting to a space where you're mixing and mastering your energy. It's kind of this loop that you've had, feels like ever since 17, 16, that you feel more comfortable with yourself. And you don't really feel as comfortable with others as you feel with yourself. So it's going to require you to break out of your shell and to begin to mix your energy in like safe ways, not in a sexual space, even though it may or may not lead to that, but definitely in the realm of relationships, in the realm of learning how to share your energy, little by little, increasing over time, get into a space where you get a level of balance, because you do not live in a vacuum. You don't live by yourself. So the things that need to be accomplished become group efforts and team things. And once you get that idea, then those loops and those blocks, they won't happen, because you've learned the lesson of not being selfish. Not calling you selfish, but just reading the cards and just trying to get you out of the loops. And like you said, it could be semi-conscious to be selfish because how you feel is good within yourself. And it's not just you, it's a lot of people that's like that. It's like literally the whole world. So I wouldn't feel bad about it. I would just try to strive and try to do little things to connect with people and get out of my shell so I don't fall victim to it. Hope that resonated.
You just did sage wisdom, correct?
Correct. That was sage wisdom.
Empress.
Empress energy is next.
Scrolling down to the question.
We're looking for Empress energy's question.
What's blocking me from gaining financial stability?
What's blocking me from gaining financial stability? I'm going to give it to you like the cards are presented to me. For this reading, we got all major arcana cards, and they speak to a specific message that if you are serious about clearing your energetic paths to financial prosperity, you will listen or at least try to understand what I'm trying to say. The first card that I have is the Empress, and the Empress rules earth energy. The Empress rules the energy of what makes the grass grow, what makes the trees grow, what makes the animals roam throughout the wild and, the natural world, the air that we breathe, the earth that we walk on, the civilization for which we are part of. What makes this energy exist is a unknown, can't put it in a bottle, it's just there. You can't figure out, like, it's just there. So this represents the Empress energy. So connecting to this energy that's available to a blade of grass, that means that it's available to you. Being grounded, connecting to the earth, first and foremost. The next card that we have is the Fool, which indicates that you're wanting change, but you're doing the same things. So in order to really, really say that I want change, you have to start from the beginning and say, I'm going to start from step 1, step 2, step 3. And it could be a financial literacy course at the community college, which they have all throughout the country that are free, learning how to budget your money, learning how to invest your money. And instead of saying, I don't know how to do that, that seems too complicated, you start at the whatever your heart is resonated with, whatever you feel like you would be given 6 months of your time to investigate, to study, then sit there from point 1 and get all the way to point Z. If financial literacy and getting out of those financial blocks are serious to you, it could be an intelligent mental battle with you where you want to get your financials together, but you're not really doing anything about it. And once this is all established, this leads us into the star. And this gets us into the realm of Aquarius, where you're awakened to your ability to really do some wonderful things with money. I think wealth, the real thing about wealth is that it shows you what it feels like not to have it. Just so when it is your time to get it, you really appreciate it and you do the good things and the right things with it, and that's help other people get it too. So I think you're on the right trajectory. You just have to give yourself time to learn. Give yourself about 6 months, give yourself a topic, and dive deep. Hope that resonated with you. Be sure to email me to give me that follow-up 6 months later to tell me how you amassed $1 million. Give me a little, 0.5% little cut for free. Little donation.
And his question is about his son. His son's sun sign is in Taurus, moon is in Cancer, rising is in Scorpio.
So Blaxican got a son. His son is in what?
His son's sun is in Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
Moon is in Cancer, rising is in Scorpio.
Taurus, Cancer, Scorpio. Okay.
And I want to say it's about his life path. His yet to end of Taurus.
Okay. So don't worry about your son's rising path, because he'll get to that once he gets his foundation. That's more of a spiritual something that he'll get to once he gets all of this foundational stuff underway. But we can really take a look at his sun sign and his moon sign to get a real reading on this child, to understand that you need to first off listen to him. Listen to him, and he's going to have these gifts. And you're going to be like, my son has gifts, and I'm going to put him on the pedestal, and I'm going to demand a lot of him because he has these gifts. Don't do that. Your son going to be great no matter what. The thing that you need to do is surround him with people that bring out the best in him. Don't put him on no pedestal. If he's an athlete, put him on a team the best AAU team. If he's a singer, put him around the best singers. Don't have him get that attention and, put all the pressure on him because he's talented, because that's going to isolate him and that's going to not bode well for his future. When you think about Cancer moons and Taurus suns, you think about really the upper echelon, the elites, somebody who has great talent, somebody who can get supported and lifted up to great heights. And a Cancer moon, I'm a Cancer moon. The thing, and I'm not saying that because I'm great. I'm like, it's a flip side to Cancer moon that I think that I'm on the other side of it, where if you have support, if you see something in your child, you see a talent, support that talent till he says, you know what, Dad, I don't want to do that no more. I want to do this. Support him just the same, because he's going to have a lot of things that he's good at, a lot of things he's bad at. Don't be frustrated with him, because all of these things are going to come back later in life. He's just going to be multi-talented, versatile, and he's going to need to learn, and he's going to need that support. Without it, you could easily look at a Cancer moon and look at them as weird, eccentric, different, Neptunian, and just kind of throw them under the bus and kind of forget about them as well. And so it's just different variables. So if you understand that your son has gifts, surround him with other people with gifts and make him know that he's supported. And as far as life path, definitely in the realms of, I want to say fame and I want to say entertainment, but I don't want it to be so sensationalized. I want it to be something like artistic in that space. Hope that resonated, Blaxican. Definitely resonates with me because I'm an earth sign and I'm also a Cancer moon as well. So support if you don't get nothing from this reading is what's needed.
Pretty Vicky is up next, and she wants a love reading. There was no particular question.
So Pretty Vicky, we talking about love. We talking about attracting love and how to get you to a space where you're attracting love. The first thing that we need to deal with is this past relationship we could move on, we could date different people, we could meet other people, but until we really get to a space where we're over it, then we're not really necessarily over it. So whatever you need to do to get over the past to bring you to the future will definitely enter into a relationship that's going to give you luxury. The Four of Cups is called luxury. So we're dealing with a well-endowed, generous type of energy that's trying to enter into your life. The thing of it is that you might be programmed to think that every man is like your ex, where your ex could have been like a real loser, not having stuff together. But this next energy is going to be something very different, and you got to be ready for it. You got to be really prepared on a mental, instinctual level. So the remedy for this reading is some self-love procedures like spa trips. I don't necessarily know. You seem like you really into self-love, so maybe go a little harder, get the deluxe spa treatment instead of getting the basic, get the mani and pedi. You know what I'm saying though. Self-love times 10. And if you have a practice of self-love times 10, you telling your subconscious mind this is what you require. And then you letting the man know energetically that they got to have their SHIT together to even talk to you. So, hope that resonates. Hope that makes sense. And I hope that gets you the love that you so desire.
Tim D, the last one.
Tim D, my man's.
I've lost sight of my most recent overview and self-perspective. Where should I focus my attention in order to embrace and align with the current energy shifts? Is there a blind spot/block I'm overlooking?
Tim, we got the Princess of this, we got the Seven of Wands, and we got the Queen of Cups. In my humble opinion, it seems as though having talent, it doesn't always bode well for you because you could always fall back on it. What needs to really be understood is not the masculine resourcefulness that you were endowed with, but the preventative, more healing measures of the feminine. Now, feminine energy takes on various forms, and it doesn't always have to be a woman per se. It could be a body of water. It could be a tree. It could be a forest. It could be a mound. It could be all types of different things that signify feminine energy. But this reading is saying that the block or what you're missing or what you lack is feminine energy. It's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Why aren't things working out for me? And that's very logical and that's very rational to think. But what you need is a little bit of, it's like you're an artist, right? And it's like you live your life in straight 90-degree dimensions. And you like, how do you like my picture, HoodMystic? I drew some stick figures for you. And I'm just like, that's dope, Tim. But you're not even that. You draw mad curves and squiggly lines and accents and all types of twists and dips and twirls, and this is representing to feminine energy, which you have a lot of. You can tell by your creativity, but within your expression, within your action, this is more than, well, I'm into the feminine energy, I don't oppose the feminine energy. But what does your action speak to of honoring that and reverencing that? Creativity is another form of feminine energy, I might interject. So, cutting on the faucet, I don't know. Like, you got to get that stream and that flow of energy going within your being, that wetness, that moisture, those curves, right? Or else your levels ain't even gonna be right. So indoctrinate yourself with feminine energy. Draw women, draw sexy women. You understand what I'm saying? Like, be creative and honor and revere the feminine energy, and that will alleviate the blocks, and you will no longer be wondering what you are missing out on, good sir. I hope that resonated with you. I know we kind of dropped the ball and fumbled our talks, but I'm always the type of person that if I drop the ball, I'll pick it back up because the ball is still there. We always chop it up. So, let's talk, let's reach out, let's build.
Tell me to
Um,
redraw my painting.
yeah, my wife wants her painting redrawn, so you can talk to her. Even you just gotta reach out and talk to people and deal with people. If we talking about feminine energy, I can commission you for some work, where you could work with my wife. She's feminine. You get what I'm trying to say. So we've been on here for about an hour and a half. I appreciate everybody that was kind of on the live, being patient with us. Just want to thank my wife. Question?
Can you do like one general card reading for like everyone that's still in
Sure. So since we're gonna end this, because readings are taxing, that you can't just do readings all day. Um, what the hell am I talking about? But that's funny. That's hilarious. Wow. But yeah, you wanna. Never mind, man. Just forget I even said anything. But before we get off this live, I'm going to do a group read for all of us. One of those daily energy throwbacks, throwback Friday type of deal. But I appreciate everybody that's been on the live. I'm sorry if I didn't get to you. All you got to do for $1 a month is join the Patreon channel. I'll read you every goddamn month, so you don't need to worry about these damn lives. It's for $1 a month. You can get read every month. So all you got to do is go to the Patreon and just do it real quick, and that'll be that. You know what I'm saying? Too much like right. So the sum that we have of the cards is 12, which equates to 3. The cards that we have are the 2 of Wands, the 3 of Cups, and the Chariot. So collectively, we need to take the bull by the horns and take control of our lives, because we have the power moving forward. I know what I'm telling you, what makes this energy weird is that you lack control that you don't even know that you have. That's what's weird about it. You don't know that you don't got to work a job that you don't really like doing. You don't know that you got to be in relationships that aren't unfulfilling. You don't know that you could be happy. You don't know that you could just live a life of leisure. You could just do research all day and get paid for it. There's all different types of things that you could do for residual, dividends, reparations, etc., etc. But you got to do your research. You got to put in that work. Take control. We have power moving forward, but power can only be wielded. Power can only be utilized. The 3 of Cups, we referenced this card earlier, speaks to abundance. It speaks to that connection to that ancestor and that ancestral inheritance. Man, if we going to compare ancestors right now, I don't think we shouldn't even necessarily be figuring it's a contest if we going to compare our ancestors to anybody else's ancestors. We come from a line of rich ancestors that haven't went nowhere. They ain't went nowhere. They right here present. All of the stories that you can read about of Madam C.J. Walker, and the list goes on and on and on throughout the planet. These ancestors are live and passing out inheritance like it ain't nothing. And it's up to us to connect, up to us to do our research. The final card is the Chariot, which is ruled by Cancer, I might add. We need to be connected to something. And if we ain't connected to nothing, we have to be connected to ourselves. I started off this live referencing a relationship to ourselves. Now, the relationship to ourselves ain't, hey, self, what's up? Oh, I'm all right. Just up in heaven, chilling. How you doing down there? Oh, I'm good. Just down in earth, working. That's not the relationship with self. The relationship with self is to be found in action. You don't love yourself if you ain't taking care of yourself. So stop bullshitting yourself. I'm not speaking to you or anybody in particular in this space. I can only be talking to my damn self, right? And being honest with myself and coming to the realizations with my wife, like, this month, I'm going to make some changes to better myself. And it's going to be difficult. You know, I've been practicing, I've been pussyfooting, I've been quitting, I've been doing the workout here and there. You know, I told her, I don't know how long it's going to be. If it's going to be for 1 day, 1 month, 1 year. But I'm going to make a daily commitment to be a better motherfucking person. I owe it to myself. I owe it to my body, right? If I love my body and I love myself, then I can't talk to it. I have to literally put the work in to care about it. Now, this has just been showing up for me, and it kind of shows up in this reading as well. So, and all this being said, I like doing these live readings because even though I'm talking directly to one person, I find that I'm talking to a multiples of many different people and in many different spaces and times. And the intent for these live readings is to lift your spirits if for by chance they're low, because that's my place, you know. That's where I'm at. I'm in the lower gateways. Before you think that is too low, I'm here to tell you, you don't want to come down here. You got to turn around, go back up the steps. Go back up the steps, and because it ain't never that bad. But with that being said, patreon.com/thehoodmystic. If you didn't know, subscribe to my channel. I would say share this video, but ain't no real point in that. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't watch it, but tell somebody next Friday where to be and where to go and who to know. You know, we'll be here next Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, doing the same thing. Got some videos coming up this week. Olo Coon, Opulence, talking about monies. Like talking about monies. But thank y'all for watching. Peace, peace, peace. See y'all next Friday.